All right, gjmjblevins here with Form Assessment Saturday number 2. This may come out on Friday actually, and we've got about 4 people in, so we're going to dive right into it. We're going to start here with Christian, who is doing some squatting. I believe Christian is a younger lifter. A little quick on the walkout. I want to make sure you keep control of the weight, but walkout was quick. Squat looks real solid. The only thing I'm seeing is a little bit extra tilting forward just as you come right out of the hole. So I'm going to pause this here. So this here looks really strong. And then as you hit the hole, you got a little bit of looseness here, but not a ton. But the issue that you run into is as you come out of the hole, your head actually comes forward and you tilt just a little bit. What I want you to work on is maintaining your back positioning. Not that it's neutral, it stays neutral basically the whole time, but the tilting forward. Part of that is coming from your head, so I want you to focus on something maybe a little bit higher. Sometimes it's tough to do that. I can't tell if you're in front of a mirror here. I think, yeah, this is just kind of a mirror in the middle here. I don't know if it's possible to squat anywhere where you're not facing the mirror. If that is possible, do that. If not, really focus on maybe looking a little bit higher or just feeling that weight come forward up onto your toes, because I really want you to have your weight evenly distributed across your feet. That's the biggest issue. Some exercises that can help would be pause squats, where you focus extremely hard on form and not having that back angle change at all as you come out of the hole with pause squats. But that slight forward tilt that you get into out of the hole can really make that grind in that middle part of the rep. So overall, these look really good. I'm happy with what I'm seeing here, but that would be the biggest thing to work on. Very good set. Very good set. I think you got a lot of good things going for you. Just work on that little bit of forward lean and head movement that you have in those lifts. All right. Next video, let me get this a little bit bigger here. There we go. That's what she said. Oh man, don't get me started on the Michael Scott stuff. So I cannot get this particular bar out of the way. Yeah, okay. Let me see. Maybe I can just expand this past the corners. No, a little further. Okay, that'll have to be good enough. A little bit of a loss of balance there. I would like to see you not have that side step that you had there as you unrack the bar. That step there. Make sure you're just working on that balance, but you correct well. I like how controlled your walkout is here. You don't do too much back and forth before you start the rep. I'm trying to see if on your breath I see expansion here, and most of what I see when you're taking your air in is right here. I really want to see you take air in deep as well. That's going to help with not getting bent over in the front of the rep. However, this looks really good. You're maintaining a good position. Looks good. The only thing that I would wonder about is if you filmed from the side, if because of the way it looks like you're in a little bit of an arch, if that's causing some posterior pelvic tilt. Watch this last rep. Knees come in slightly, but not a ton. I'm wondering if maybe your toes are pointed out just a little bit too much. You might bring those in just a tad, because I think you're over-rotating on the way down. So maybe I'm talking, when I talk about bringing your toes in, I'm talking about like from here to like right here. I mean, we're talking a little tiny adjustment on your feet, but really we want those knees tracking over kind of your second toe, and they go a little bit further out than that on the way down. So you see how they're kind of tracking over your big toe instead of kind of over middle, and that's just because of how tilted out your feet are. And that, I think, can lead to a little bit of instability in your arch here as well, which can cause some of that collapse. So I would just say maybe mess with your foot positioning just a little bit. That's probably the biggest takeaway from this. It's a really solid set, man. That was really good. I think you got a lot of things, again, going for you, but maybe mess around with your foot position a little bit and then continue to work. I didn't see any glaring issues, and you also had very consistent bar speed throughout the lift, so good work. Okay, let me see if I can figure out our name on this next person. Hang with me here. This is Tim. Yes, Tim. got a squat here. Whoop, sorry, not that one. There we go. Pull that down. Really close grip here. Getting a tight rack position. I like that. Not everybody can hold this position due to mobility. You can. One thing I'll mention is if you start getting some crazy elbow pain, one of the things that you can make sure you're doing is you're really supporting the weight of the bar on your back and not holding a lot of the weight in your hands, which will put strain on your elbows. So just something to be aware of if you end up having elbow issues. You may not have elbow issues, and if so, continue with this. It's going to be a good rack position for you. Pretty solid. Solid first rep. Second rep looks a little bit smoother. The biggest thing that I'm seeing here is the depth. I would like to see you go just a little bit deeper. I think it would actually make your squat a little easier as well, even though that may sound strange, right? So there's not a lot of contact right here between your calf and your hamstring. Part of that is because, I'm going to move this up, part of that's because of how wide your stance is, and part of it's just because for your body size and all that stuff, you're just not super thick, especially in the legs, which is not a huge issue. But basically, you're reversing the weight right here completely with your muscles. You're not getting any of that bounce from squishing into yourself. And also, if we put the top of your knee right here, you're right at depth. That's exactly parallel. That might not get past in some meets. So if you could get maybe a little bit lower, I think that would be a way for you, one, to get a little spring out of the bottom of the squat, and also make sure that you're passing your lifts. But overall, very solid squat. I think you're doing real well there. So keep up that hard work. Maybe do a little bit extra hip mobility. But other than that, things are looking real good. All right. Here we go. My buddy Jason. I've been following this guy and watching him progress as a lifter. Gosh, probably for like the past 2 years. He's made a ton of progress. He's put on quite a bit of muscle in that time as well. So I'm excited to see here. Pretty solid first rep. Biggest thing I'm seeing is I would like to see more external rotation from your knees. You're just looking tight through your hips and your back. You are getting to a neutral position with your spine, but the biggest issue I see here is I want this knee, and I'm not talking about a big change. I don't need it all the way out here, but maybe a little bit more like if this is the edge of your knee from here, maybe like that much more distance out to the side. You're just kind of collapsed in on your arches right now, and that's not the best way to be able to recruit the muscles in your hips. It's one of the reasons I think you're getting bent over here, and you're kind of using a lot of back. It turns it almost into a stiff leg sumo. And again, that's because your knees are in the way. You started to go, as you put that down, into the position I would like you to see. So see where your leg is here? This is more the angle kind of how your knee is tracking out over this part of your foot that I would like to see you in the bottom position. So imagine if you held your knees in this spot and then just sunk your hips down a little bit. That bar would be on the ground, and that would be your starting position almost for the deadlift. Obviously, you're bent over a little bit over the front of the bar here as you're putting it down, but this is what I would like to see a little bit more from your knee. So to do that, you're going to have to open up the hip. You're going to probably need to work with some lighter weights to strengthen some of the muscles in your groin and in your hamstrings and your glutes and hip, all over the place, to be able to handle heavy loads from this position. But that's the biggest thing I see there that you should work on. All right, and then we got one more video via YouTube. I think it's this one. Haha, it is. All right, and I got this sized strangely, so hang with me. So I move that to the side. A lot of wiggling back and forth. I would just like to see you hit your position a little bit quicker. Very explosive, very strong squat. Depth on the second rep is better than the first one, so I'm liking that. That was the first thing I saw. I did not like it. You kind of do this little bounce thing when you are accelerating. Way too much energy. Stay tighter. It's very lightweight, so I mean you're crushing these reps, but I would really like to see you stay tighter. You shouldn't be able to move around that much, so basically I think it's time to start upping the weight. The biggest issue I see here is you're training with loads that you're just manhandling. So start adding on a little bit more weight, and I think it'll be better, yeah, because this set's just crazy light, man. You're crushing this. I don't know how much is on the bar. I don't know if it says, but that was like a sub RPE 6 sort of thing. I'm not seeing any form issues. Get some heavier lifting in. Let me see that, and throw in another video for review here in a couple of weeks, and we'll see if we can identify some stuff. Also, if you can film from a 3/4 angles, that's really helpful. So Tim's video, he was wearing the red shirt, did a 3/4 angle, which is helpful sometimes. Also completely from the side, like a 90-degree angle instead of 45-degree angle, can also be helpful. But in any case, hope you all appreciate and enjoy these videos. I like doing them. Reviewing form is one of those things that I think can be really valuable, and that I enjoy doing. So I'm happy I've had some people put in some emails for this. I'm still behind on the total number that have been put in. I think I got about another 18 or so. So it may take a couple of weeks for me to get to your video, especially as they keep coming in. But in any case, hope wherever you're at, you're doing well. Blessings.